I am back again with Victoria. Now, I kind of wish you all could have seen or heard like what was going on just now before we started this because it's just amazing. So I'm gonna bring her on right now. She's just gonna continue, and we're gonna continue to vibe with her story, um, with her legacy, and just welcome.
Hi. Hello, everyone. I'm grateful for the opportunity. Thank you, Lynn. I'm grateful to God for the opportunity of giving me a chance to speak. But I thank you for bringing me a voice in this generation for people to speak the truth and not just a truth. So, and I look forward for today.
Yeah, that's what it's about for me too. It's just sometimes I've been told there's a thing of being too real, but I really don't feel like there's, if somebody's too real to you, that means that they're in your feelings for a right reason, for something that you haven't been acknowledging for your own self, and now you're hearing it, and there's something making you not want to be like, I need to acknowledge this. But truth,
Well,
real,
go ahead.
no, I'm all done.
I was going to say, most of the time, when people are saying you being that they're receiving the truth may be coming off as harsh. It's good truth because you should speak the truth, but also do it with love. That's one thing I've been in my prayer time for the past few months now. Is just uncovering and going back to the former self of who things have happened to me. And that sometimes when you start to grow and you start to see people and you start to see people are, how certain ways are, how certain traditions are, and you just become numb to carry on that persona. So it has brought me to be truthful, but yet to be loving and be gentle, speaking the truth too, instead of being, this is the truth. So this is the truth. Let me show you why it's the truth. But this is the truth.
I get that too. I remember some of the interviews that I did and some of the talks that I gave. I would have friends of mine being like, why aren't you just saying what it is? Why aren't you just getting to the point? Why are you going around the point? And my response is always inside, without me saying, my initial thing is, hey, listen, first of all, this is about fact, but these are still human beings. But that's me on the inside. But my response is always, there's something more than reality, because you can tell somebody 1,000 things 1,000 times and it can be true, but each and every single one of us is a universe that has a narrative, and each one of our experiences are different, and the creator has created each and every single one of us for a specific reason, and we all see things differently, and it ain't going to be easy to get somebody to see something the way you see it. So it may seem like going around, and it may seem like I'm softening the blow or whatever, but there's some logistics that you have to really hit hard for people to connect with you.
That's absolutely true. But also, I think the way to let God is showing that love. Because when you're speaking the truth and that love is within you, it's not even you that they're seeing anymore. They're seeing God. They're seeing the person, that the source. So you have to be mindful. It now becomes a personal reflection of yourself, of being mindful of how you speak to people, how you carry yourself around people, because it can be something simple. It's just going back to the remembrance we are all created in the image and likeness of God. Even though we have down different alleys, even though we have different narratives, and I cannot fault you for a past, because I've also had a past. It's about me being transparent. It's about me being vulnerable, but it's about me showing I can overcome, because I have been able to have the ability and strength. And by me showing you that love, and by me showing you that grace, through that, hey, you can do this, through encouragement, through prayer, whatever the case may be, it will show a little bit more of the creator of God and less of or Linwood. It would show more of the creator than us.
So for that to take place, there's a lot of healing that one needs to do. So the creator can't really do much if it's almost like a car. A car can't start unless we actually take the initiative to make it start. So God may be the one doing everything. And I'm saying all of that because I want you to touch on how allowing God to heal you, what does that mean? Because everything you're talking about has a lot to do with healing and the living God healing you. So I want you to just talk about what does that mean for God to heal you completely? Because everything you're saying has to do with him healing you, but we also have to do some healing.
And to do healing within yourself is first choosing to change. It is this decision that, you know what, I've been going in cycles, do things my way now for years, for decades, for months. I thought that I forgave and let this go, but underneath the rug, and it popped up or it manifested in this relationship, in my career, and it's first choosing to change. That part right there is really one of the biggest and toughest, familiar with how you've been accustomed all this time, because it's once you start to see that pattern, or once you start to see how it just comes throughout your life, you'll attach to it. Kind of like a relationship where good for you. Y'all been in a relationship for 10 years and it's going on, but there is no growth. There is no progression. There is no intention, but you're so comfortable and accustomed to it that you stay with that person. So it's not until you choose in your mind that enough is enough. Like I want to change. When you desire to change and you really seek God, him, like for me, when I wanted to change, I cried out to God. I was very suicidal, having suicidal thoughts. And I remember bawling up, and I was just asking questions like, God, why is this happening to me? Why am I always going through things? Why is it always good one moment and good one moment, and then it goes down? And I went out to him and saying, God, I just want to experience your love. I just want to encounter you. And that I chose to change. And I remember saying, just get me out of Georgia. I will live, and I will live for you. And in that moment, that word, if you could live and I will live for you, stuck with me. So even after, it just stuck with me that God is going to get me out of Georgia because I am going. So I started to grow in that, and in me growing in that, I ended the next month being in Florida and being relocated and moved. The goodness of God is seeing His overwhelming love for me and my cry, and knowing that He was with me in my deepest and darkest moment helped me to open up more. And opening up more came a lot of challenges, because one of the ways use when it comes to healing is renewing your mind and changing your own. So for me, for those of you that have been silent, who've kept a lot inside, something in your subconscious mind that keeps replaying over and over again, or come back up, or like, say for instance, you've dated in the past forward, but you would hear a song and it goes back to your memory, or you would hear this song back to a certain sadness. Um, Being renewed by your mind up with spiritual, life-giving word really matters, because that is what brings transformation. When your mind is healed, when your heart is healed, that's when transformation really takes place. Able to take out every negative mind about yourself and what happened to you and why did it happen to you. You were a victim of this, and you can't make it, or even the thoughts, or even the words that people have that say, oh, you would never amount to anything. Your mom was this, your dad was that, so you would never amount to anything. Your mom, your dad didn't want you. Take words that has been placed in your mind and changing that narrative. Know that God has called you loved, that He has called you worthy, that He has called you, more than enough. Um, was really a great turning point. It wasn't just being renewed in my mind, but also resting in that out, because I feel like the more we speak to, the more it resonates in us and with us. So there were times that um, after I had the abortion and after I moved to Florida, and I just didn't feel worthy. I didn't feel worthy. I didn't feel confident. I didn't feel any of that stuff. And I would say, Victoria, you are loved. You are accepted. God loves you. He even brought you from Georgia to Florida. Victoria, look at where you're standing, the place that you're living in, because of a cry, because you wanted to change, intentional about that change. So just reminding myself of that more strength, gave me more strength. And that progressed me even further. And God began to speak to me about therapy. And with therapy, people don't like therapy because they go on what goes on outside of the house. That it should stay in the house is real. And even with therapy, to unleash and uncover everything that was to somebody else, and to be confident in the growth and in the transformation that was taken, brought courage, has brought confidence to me. So I feel you first have to be wanting that healing for yourself, so renew your mind.
And to touch on some of the things that you said, first of all, resonance. Second of all, I feel like you gave us a secret. And I feel like you gave us the secret to your healing and to our healing, and to actually the secret you gave me to coughing before we even got on here, which was put it out of your mind. So for you going through those experiences, you continually reminding yourself of your strength, reminding yourself of you being looked out for. You weren't staying focused on your environment and on your situation, and that allowed your faith to progress to what it was. You kept that vision alive. And I feel like that's important, because that's something that when we're seeing success in life, when we're seeing our prayers answered, we're not focusing on success, we're not focusing on our prayers. We're simply moving on from our prayers, believing that it is and letting that
Yes.
go. But the more that we continue to focus on something, or the more that we continue to chase something, is the more that we continue to actually put it off from us. And so it's sort of like relationship again. If a man is chasing um, a woman is going to be like, listen, you want me for some kind of reasons, you're chasing too hard. Woman's chasing a man, listen, this girl wants something from me, I don't know. But if you just let it flow, the relationship be, then you can see that there's an existing government there that neither male or female has anything to do with, but the relationship is being cared for without any sort of interference. So you touched on that secret, but then also the third thing, which I want you to touch on, codependence, because you talk about relationship, you talk about codependency in a sense, and that doesn't, and I'm not saying just relationship between male and female, there's also codependency between our human being and our religion, our human being or our personal devotional conversation, how there can be no growth for either one of them. So taking all of that, I know that's a lot that you just put in there, but the resonance, the resonance that comes with being able to escape codependency for the purpose of you allowing your relationship with the creator and with yourself, and then with the people around you, to grow. Just, you can pick any one of those or attack them all, but I just want to know your take on how you managed to maintain a vision of strength despite going through so much.
So for me, I was able to take away codependency on others by and putting my codependency only in God. I realized that my trust was in the wrong thing. I was trusting him, I was trusting her, I was trusting my friends, and putting too much trust in something that was the source, the creator, that wasn't my healer, my sustainer. Of I was putting trust in things that he has did instead of him. And when I realized that all humans, we all make mistakes, we all fall short sometimes, we all, none of us is perfect. It helps me to put trust, to put trust in God solely and completely, to know that even if I'm let down, or even if the healing that I didn't come, I knew that he was able.
It makes, yeah, because that aspect of trust, in my head as you're speaking, I'm wondering, and I wanted to ask you, how do you get to a point of trust after going through each and every one of us? I know you took that deep, I can see. Each and every single one of us, like you forgot you're on camera, just took that. Oh, here he goes.
I forgot this was.
Because every single one of us go through experiences where it's like, this happened, I'm never going to trust this again. This happened, I'm never going to trust this again. This happened, I'm never going to trust this again. And that can be with life, that can be with people. In my world of religion and philosophy, it goes for God too. This happened in my religion, so I can't trust God anymore. This, that, and then that. So how would you say that we would go about trusting not just ourselves, but the living God with ourselves so that we can trust ourselves with ourselves?
Of fear.
Mm,
To let go yourself the way things should be. To know that in order like I've heard this when I was growing up, that Jesus be the only Jesus that people may see. And me hearing that when I was showed me that, and it even brought it back to that God always sends people to you, off and blocking off and building those walls of trust, of not, and isolating yourself is actually bringing more damage than it, because the same way that the enemy brings people to try to your route, or that tries to deceive you, God, he brings people in your life for a season, and it wasn't in came a flight attendant, and when I became, wanted to grow my relationship with somebody to my life, and that person, she was in Christianity or new in her walk with Jesus, not Christianity, new in her walk with Jesus, and I remember her just loving me, and her just, inquiring to ask, what is my story? Not to your business so I can spread it all across the world, but to really be genuine. Sometimes if you have built up that fear of not because they're going to let you down, or not wanting to speak to anyone was behind it, you could sometimes cause those sent to you to pass you on by, and that's what I've come to realize, is that by getting out, trusting in God, to know that He has people that are there that I am supposed to encounter, to continue growing, to continue. I may permeate healing to others, that I may permeate, guidance to continue to trust in Him as He trusts you to be trust. I think that is very important to know.
deep, deep. And I like to emphasize that also with the need to experience beyond what you know. In the sense of, we all have an understanding of a foundational practice, but how real is that practice until you actually put it to the test? And I think that that's the book of the Proverbs has a different outlook than I would say what is traditional, because there's a lot of out of his mouth is wisdom and knowledge. Put the fear of the Lord first. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. The fear of the holy is understanding. So the book of Proverbs is along the line of, okay, so you have everything within you, and that's fine, but now you need to have something else added extra within you that's higher than you.
Yes,
And
and that's one of my favorite books of the Bible. My favorite is 3, 5, and 6, which says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, lean not into your own knowledge, Him, and He will direct your path." And I remember reading that in Florida, and literally, I kid you not, it was like as if the scriptures came up and smacked me in my face. And I remember to me and speaking to me in that moment and said, "But do you really trust?" He was like, "I hear you saying
mm,
this is your favorite scripture and you've been quoting this since you were, are you really trusting me?" And that's when I realized I've been putting my trust in the wrong things and in the wrong people. We all put our trust in things, trust in our jobs, knowing that in 2 weeks I'm gonna have a paycheck come through.
mm.
What if that job just closed down? Are you going to run out of faith? Are you going to run out of trust in God? That's the same with people with church hurt that I feel like needs to be talked about on a different day. Is okay, church people in the church have hurt you, not realizing that therapy is you just may not be in the same way, but in different areas of their life. Someone hurts you, that means you're going to stop trusting and having faith in God to know if all things work out for your good, then why within Him? Okay, I'm getting hot. I'm sorry.
I could tell you going into another zone. First of all, I think you just coined a new term called church hurt. Listen, hashtag church hurt. I've never heard that in my life. But
yeah,
that's good
so
stuff because it's real.
yeah, it's just a lot that is going on, and speaking to me about things that I've been quiet on that I haven't said because I've been in my own way of not trying to rattle.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot that has to be said, a lot of things. And I'm just grateful that in Him completely and solely, to know that he has a plan and purpose for me. He has been with me, that He's never left me, that He has been strengthening me with His word, has been guiding my every footsteps ever since I was a child. So I was listening to keep your trust in God. And even in the hardest moments where He's there the most. It's in those darkest, hidden moments that you would not think one could possibly be there with you. He's there with you. And to resonate in your spirit, to let that resonate in your soul, and to let it resonate in your mind. Let it resonate in your mind. That helps a lot.
And as you're speaking, you're reminding me of a verse in Hosea. I would rather mercy and not sacrifice. I would rather the knowledge of God and not burnt offerings. So there's a split there because we're so into something that we think we have to do in order to please God. But there's another verse that, as you're speaking, you reminded me of. There's another verse you reminded me of, which is in the Psalms: "A broken and a contrite heart will He not neglect." So the willing individual, as you said in our last interview, you have to have a willing mind to be able to go through what you're going through, and then at the same time to be able to take perspective on it, to not lose that perspective, and then to deal with the soul temple, because that's the issue I also find is with, you know, other individuals saying church isn't it for me, or as you're saying, people in church have hurt me, so I'm losing something. I always like to emphasize soul temple matters. If Moses made a pattern of the temple below from the temple above, that means that there is a high priest above, and that means that within our soul temple there needs to be a high priest, and that high priest needs to match the mind of the high priest that's above. And I think everything that you're saying just goes along with that train of thought.
And even with even about your soul, that shows that it's deeper than that. Everything starts at your first ministry at home. Your ministry at home, that's the first ministry God's given, is your home. So dysfunction, and even looking at the world, taking families and distorted it, or have changed it, or have rumors and things like that. Families. So you first, and then everybody's going to church, or everybody's going to a place to worship, and they're broken, and it's carrying over. But we're hearing the word and we're reading it. It's not necessarily what we're seeing. So we're taking on the personification. We're not truly living it out. And it's not until you recognize that, no, like, trauma is real. Like, I need healing. Not just for my soul, for my heart, for my mind, for me to be transformed matters. And I'm just grateful to be on this journey, to be able to be in the presence of God. Even just this morning before I got him, just really thanking for allowing him to show me that places where I got comfortable in, because 2018 I'm a flight attendant. I remember in 2018 I came on a plane, like, oh my gosh, oh, she dropped her purse and everything, as she her purse and everything, and I helped her to the seat, and she was like, your spirit, she was like you're so gold, like, don't change who you are, and whose you are, and don't change the person that you are. And just now, this morning, and it's been showing me that lines, even now, even though I'm in this healing journey, that even now, I love the younger Victoria, even though I was hurting, was wanting to love others. I used to sit down and ask my dad and them, like, eat alone. And I used to want to just go over there to, like, cheer them up, and they just wanted to eat out by themselves. But it was something in me that was like, no, I want to make love and this and that. And as you go through life, and even as you're in that healing stage, sometimes things can happen. That wall starts to try to come back up, but you have to empower it down with the love of God, and to allow yourself to love as you love yourself. So to keep that in your mind as, okay, they're the source of all things. And as I love him, I am loving others. So to make sure that you're loving yourself completely, you're going to want to nourish yourself. You're sure you have the right vitamins. You're going to want to make sure you eat the right things, sure that you exercise, that you get sun. And if you take that, if I'm doing that, what can I do for others? Well, I know that I like to get my nails. Just one day, grab somebody, take them to get their nails done. Just one day, just say, they may be hungry. They may not have any money, but just pay. And it doesn't have to be materialistic things all the time. Sometimes people just need so don't be so mean or that mark or be amiss to see that God-given moment. Prayer since for a while now is the God in every moment, not just the areas where I know that I see you in this, I need to see you in that, but just in every given moment. And it's like in the love of God and immersing me in that love so that I can immerse to others that as I encounter them, as well as I immersely love myself to grow by continuing to heal, by continuing to, build my continuing to speak up. So, yeah, I wanted to encourage you all.
And, I want to touch on, this actually carries over to one of my next questions that I had for you, which was bridging the generational gap. Because everything that you say begins at home. And you mentioned that, and our last time together, you spoke about disciplinary issues from one generation to the next. Now we're just saying to children, don't do. And then when we ask why, there's no answer. It's just don't do because I said so. So how do you think getting the home temple would better prepare the soul temple of children and kids for what they need to go through in their life? Another deep breath.
By going back by going back to the true image of what God for family and why he created us that reflected his image. He created them in the likeness of him, following his guidelines of what a healthy marriage is and looks like. And also, it's something big. Learning to honor your, even if they didn't do right in your eyes, even if they may have left you, to not speak evil on them, to not speak bad about them, show love and respect and appreciation for them, because that they could, or they did what they had the tools that to understand that they may not have got to that place of healing that you have gotten. I think asking God what is his true definition, and to his word, and to read it, and to let it even take you further, not just the word, I read the scriptures and I'm done. No, allow him to take you further, to reveal in his image. So I want to say that, number one, I think honest conversations with your children, with your spouse, like have communication, being open and honest and transparent, and setting boundaries and having discipline. And not of because I'm trying to be in control, but because I love you, that I had happened to you. So
I'm somebody that loves communication in any sort of.
I got a charge.
No problem. in any sort of anything that I'm doing that involves another person, whether it's speaking one-on-one, either counseling or in my relationship, I value communication. And just as you were saying. So could you talk about, from the point of view, or from the perspective of someone that may not be so prone to communicate, why there is a failure for communication on, in a dynamic? This may not be your personality, but I'm just asking you from what you've gone through.
It was my personality.
Okay, well, in that case, just
Silent.
touch on that. Yeah, touch on
Um,
why you think that is, why communication may fail or lack on one side.
Communication may fail, or somebody may be fearful to lose that person. Somebody may see them. Somebody may be, you know, um, there's a lot of things because you could be scared, you could be afraid to expect. Um, you can know how they're going to respond, and sometimes you don't want to, not even that, or you don't want to hurt, or you don't want to
Mm,
let that person down. Like I was silent because I didn't want my family to be ridiculed. Further, the things that I did after the molestation and the path that I went down, afraid to be a disappointment to my family, that I held those things inside, that took a toll on me versus speaking up sooner. I didn't get better until I actually sat down to speak with my dad on the things that I've been. When he said, Victoria, I love you. I wish you just would have told me sooner so I could have been. When you look back and you realize that all those moments that you were silent really prolonged the need, or prolonged the healing from taking place instantly, rather than you start to want to speak up more. Like, not has brought about some great changes in my life, to be able to speak up, to speak on things. And there were some times that I didn't get it right, and that's because of I had when I was younger. So, yeah, that.
I just wanted to touch on that because your book goes into that from that perspective and the transformation that you've gone through. You haven't forgotten where you came from or what you've gone through, but as you continually say, you are renewed, um, mind, body, and soul. So I really don't even have
Yeah.
any more questions for you. So freestyle anything, freestyle anything because you touched on so much that can connect with individuals on a deeper level, on a more profound level, and from somebody going through the struggles that you are going through, have been going through, sorry, and your growth. Um, just say more on that, on how you've allowed yourself to trust the environment that you're, or the space that you're now creating.
I want that this is not a one time thing and it's done and it's over. It's not like, here, I'm healed, I'm ready, let's go. It's a continuous journey. You may have, okay, let's say you've healed from traumas of your past, or healed from, but there may be some things that shaped your childhood that you didn't really has shaped your childhood, not because of trauma, but because of your upbringing and who you were around later on in your life, whether it be in your relationship, in your marriage, in your career. I just want to encourage you, to let you know that healing does not stop. Like, it's not a one time. We passed away. We are still on this journey to be perfected, to be healed, to seek Jesus, and to allow him to actually come in and to teach you all, to open your heart up to him, um, because honestly, if it wasn't for not, I would not be here. TikTok, and last night I before I went to bed, I was studying the Bible, and I went to the revival of Ashbury that's happening in Kentucky, and the revival, but I didn't really pay attention to it. I heard that I was breaking out in the countries and things like that. So I went online and I saw articles because I wanted to see if it was in the articles. And majority of the articles were like, oh, this supposed at Ashbury, Kentucky, bringing supposed Jesus revival to, and like they put it in parentheses, and most of the articles, parentheses of Jesus, and that just showed me the love he has for everyone. That even though some may and some may not want to heal or allow him, that he still loves you anyway. So I feel like it's important to know God, your creator, your source, the person that created you, the spirit that created you, and to know him has been, that has kept me going and not wanting to stop me or to turn back from him. And I know that my prayer in my prayer time, my biggest thing is keep your spirit within me. I don't care about trying to be this perfect person. I don't care about what it is that I have material, and I don't want to be popular, because I can be popular to people, but to God, and that matters most to me. And I remember for the longest, my book cover, just speaking. So even with my book cover, I was trying to find ways of how I could on the cover, because I was like, okay, for my cover, I want to have this picture of this warrior, dark, with the warrior with the arrow, and I want to have like light coming in and things like that. And I remember my friend telling me to pray about it, and so I remember before, and I remember going to sleep and having a dream, and God was like, "You're the warrior who didn't speak, and I'm trying to use you to be a voice to and to help others heal and to break off things in others' people. Why aren't you going
crazy?
Why aren't you going to use your face?
Crazy.
And for the longest, in my whole, this ain't even about me. This you got, you know.
Yeah.
I don't, because I'm not big on names. I'm not big on what it is that you're trying to miss, your accolades or things. I'm not on that. I care genuinely about a person's soul and their life, and knowing that they have healed and that transformed by the love of God, and that they have grown in the love and being fruitful and be productive and to succeed in that, and to that it brings me joy. Like it brings me joy in seeing others and to be joyful in their life because they have encountered Jesus just as I have. So I think why I love to encourage others. It's just that for so long I had it at encouraging others, but I could never encourage myself. So God had to reintroduce himself as I got to know him more and more. Out okay, I've been doing it wrong. I've been loving you, God, and loving others, but I haven't been loving me others because I haven't been loving me.
Yeah.
And getting to that and undo a lot. And now it's more so of me not focusing on me because I'm not self absorbed that I love me correctly so that the love I give to others will be in the sight of God.
I'm the same. I'm exactly my same motivation. I expected to just put something out there and step back. Like, but you
Lord,
know,
speak
it's
through me, speak through me. You gave it to me. All right,
exactly.
here you go.
But
And Lord, I give it. And that's my 30th birthday. I released. I was like, Lord, I give this back to you. I was like, and then people would come. But they would come and they would be like, oh, Victoria, you know, I was, or I always wanted to write a book. And I'm looking at them and I'm like, no. In my mind, Victoria did not have in
exactly,
her mind that she was
exactly.
going to talk about the things that I've been through or the things that happened. No, no, write a book about your life, about you being molested, about you being in different relationships, in the wrong relationship, suicidal, having an abortion. I would be
Exactly.
like, girl, boy, you sleep.
Exactly. Because that's
But
it's on another level. It's when it gets to that point, it's another level. Because it's not you that you're not tapping into you. Like you know that living God is tapping into you for a reason. And
yeah,
then that's why you're like, listen, it's out there. You do what you do with it as you will. You let it come out. But then listen, the funny thing is that the living God ain't about letting people be Moses. Remember Moses? Listen, I want you to lead these people. Wait a minute, I can't speak. So I'm not the one. But then it's like, hey, whoa, who put a voice in somebody? Who created everything?
yeah.
So I'm not gonna hear you. I may have given you this, but the work's not done. Like you may be a face, and who cares? But you also are a voice,
And
and
he
the
even did, and then he even sent Aaron to be a voice.
he did, yeah, he did,
He
yeah,
sent Aaron to be a voice, but still, God still called Moses his
he
friend.
did. Never let him go, no matter what. So I say, authors as authors, I guess we have this thing of it's out there now. So Lord, work with it, but at the same time, there's we know why we're writing, and the living God knows why He's writing with us. So we just can't hop out. If the living God is writing to give us, we have to ride with, so that we can also give with the living God. Even though we may have whatever we assume, things literally don't work the way that we think they work. Something I'm learning, being, what is it, 6 7 years in the publishing world, and then also not publishing for myself but for my father. So
Mhm.
knowing that there's a higher publishing company that I work for, beyond this plane, beyond this realm, but still having the function as a human being, you want to get out the way, but at the same time, you're going to receive individuals, your path, as you've been saying this whole time, that are sent to you for a specific reason, that can match you, that no one else can match, and no one else is supposed to match, because the living God has given you that voice, that speaking.
Throughout the Bible, if you really pay attention to it, that they had was with a person.
Mm. Mm.
A person came along, a person encountered them, they spoke with the person through from God. The person, or God spoke to a person to speak to the people.
Crazy, beautiful.
Person, it always
Yeah.
came through. So by off or by, just shutting them down completely, people that are there in your life to actually bless you. And, and one of my biggest things that I've been learning in this season is to make sure you really pay attention to my relationships and to love and what may happen, the good, the bad, and the ugly, because to know that we all have make mistakes. We're not gonna always get it right. Like, we're not gonna always get something right. Stronger in the area where you are weaker at, that doesn't mean that I'm not gonna have area stronger at. So I may mess up in the area that you would not mess up in, and vice versa. And I should cut you off because I made a mistake. Not in this manipulative and this intent behind that, but if it's something that we are walking along the same path and we're doing it for the love of Jesus, and we're both spreading the joy, and we're both spreading healing, and we're both spreading this and that, then I think you should take in consideration the people that God placed in your life and resonating with me, and to love people in spite of. To the point where the golden rule, which has always been, treat others the way you want to be treated, or do unto others that you want them to do unto you, that had started to leave me. And I realized that time where I really didn't say it a lot, like I used to say it all the time, but that was leaving me. And I realized that I got so focused on I was in the way of God, and I was walking in his ways, but then things in my life started to happen as I was with him, and I couldn't see if I'm with him. And that's just like what you said earlier about works, which is about being silent. For so long, I felt like I had to prove my love. And that's one thing that I want to encourage people not to do. God loves you just because he loves you. And
for sure,
he loves you just because he loves you. Like, there's nothing that you could do. There's nothing that you could nothing that you could try to say, oh, I fed these people, I took care of her, I did this and that. Like there's nothing that you could say to make it even more. So I think when you take out the narrative of, okay, I don't have to try to for his love, and to know that his love is with us, and that his grace is with us and for us, that it is a gift. To receive that has been helpful. To what I was saying, just to be able to, I was walking with God and in his ways, but things were happening that were in my life that were, making things question to not that, and I became so focused on myself. I became me. And now I'm starting to learn that me and place it on God and continue to love. That's what matters most. I see that God favors the people that are not consumed with themselves, but they are very mindful of the ways of how they treat others. Humble, because they know that we all are made in the image. All came into this fallen world. None of us are perfect. So to love the faults. So to love you in spite of your wrong, as Christ loves you, to love you in spite of your wrongdoing. Not to say, okay, let me tell, there's a difference. To be like you see this pattern, no, still love them, but you don't have to continue to allow that into your life. You can still and be genuine with love and love them and ask God to, areas they need to grow. But to be loving and to know that it's the mark sometimes and we all fall short, that we need the grace and mercy of that's been the biggest thing that I've been working on and being intentional to when I encounter people, to make sure I'm smiling, to make sure not to be fake or phony, but what it is that I'm doing, to know the reason why I'm doing it, because I want to do unto me.
And with that, I think we're gonna just close it there. Resonance, literally everything that I had planned to dialogue with you over, you just summed it up perfectly, and you even touched on my initial point from the beginning of how you cope, trust, that you handle everything. So again, and I'm thankful to and grateful to share this time with you longer than before. So thank you for making your time out of your day for me and for everybody listening. Just
Thank you for
one last thing, show or tell us where we can find you and your book.
You can find my book on Amazon. It's called The Warrior Who Didn't Speak by Victoria Robinson. You can also find me on I Victoria Exists on.
And I will also place it in the link below so that anybody tuning in can check out your book on Amazon. So thank you again for being here. Thank you for sharing you. And thank you for giving us the opportunity to know more about how to handle our lives, how to balance our spirituality, how to do all kind of things that you are triumphing over and getting wisdom in and sharing that wisdom with us. Thank you.
Thank you.